Whammy Gunslinger here. Going to go over a few of the ammo types that I have in some of my 10mm mags, some of the ammo that I carry in my 10mm. So there's actually another one. I got to grab that one. So let's just get started, go straight into it. I guess I'll just start from left to right. This one here is from a company called the Grizzly Cartridge Company. It is a 180 grain hollow point, says moving at 1,350 feet per second, which I believe out of the G40 it is actually. In fact, I'm about positive of that because it moves at about 1,305 coming out of the 4.7 inch barrel. So now it's not like crazy, 10mm max power. What you're looking at is, let's just say out of a Glock 20, it's moving at about 1,310 feet per second at 180 grains. So it's about 700 foot-pounds of energy. And it's pretty mean. That's hot stuff. That's not any, some weak rounds or anything like that. That's pretty hot. Once you climb above 650, man, you're getting hot, So of course 10mm goes beyond that, but once you go past 650, believe me, it's getting hot. So that's what this is. It's a stout round, heavy bullet, and it does work. Silver tip. This is called the Winchester Silver Tip. It's a 175 grain bullet, and it's a round that doesn't do anything, crazy, but it is a great round for humans, because what you have is a bullet that is really focused on the expansion and not the speed or the power. And that's basically what you get with this. I believe these aren't moving very fast. I want to say it's like 175 grain bullet moving at 1,200 feet per second. I believe that's the case. And they work well from the, ballistic tests and whatnot I've seen. They work very well. So this is 180 grain, the Grizzly. This is 175. This is hot, right? This isn't hot. This isn't hot. This is very low recoil when it comes to the 10mm, very low feet per second, very low energy, but it does what it's supposed to do. It expands, and dumps all its energy in its target. So there's that. Now we're going to start getting a little hot here. Okay. What you have here, this is my main carry ammo in both the Glock 29 and the G40. This right here is called the Extreme Defender from Underwood, and it's mean. The way it's designed is that it's 100% barrier blind. Like, it doesn't matter what you put in front of it. They've put wood, they've put all kinds of stuff, sheet, metals, all kind of stuff. It goes through everything that it can go through. And when it gets in that gelatin, it still performs exactly the way it was designed to perform. Out of all of these, except for one that I'm going to show you, it creates the biggest wound cavity of all. Permanent wound cavity. It doesn't expand, so it's kind of strange. Like, how does that create such a... Those flutes there, it does something. And when it's going and it's spinning, it's ripping, and it creates like a 3-inch. It's crazy what it does. So I advise you to go look this up and see what it's doing in the gelatin. I think the Military Arms channel did pretty good information on it, and it wasn't biased at all. In fact, he wasn't expecting it to do what it did, because I believe he carries Golden Sabers, I believe. But when he tested it out, he was like, this is just, it doesn't matter what you do, it performs. And it has undoubtedly the largest permanent wound cavity of all the other hollow points. And he was testing the Hornadies, the Golden Saber, you name it, all the, popular rounds that people carry. And this created the biggest wound cavity. So this is 100 grains. 100 grains moving at 1,825 feet per second. We're talking heat here. And I believe this is about 750 foot-pounds of energy. I think that's about right. 1,825 feet per second, 100 grains, and it's 750 feet per second. Of course, again, Glock 20 we're talking here, and a G40, this thing probably is touching around 800 foot-pounds of energy and even more speed. So this is my carry round, 100% barrier blind. Then we have another one here. This is civil defense, and with this civil defense round, it's 60 grain, right? So we had 100 grain just a second ago. This is now 60 grain, 10 millimeter, 60 grain round, and this is moving at 2,400 feet per second, 780 foot-pounds of energy. Now, it's not 100% barrier blind like the one I just showed you before, but if you're aiming straight at a human and it's just going through clothing and then the body and, you know, regular stuff, this is going to perform very well, and it's one of the hottest 10 millimeter rounds that there is. There's a couple more, one of them being the one I just showed you. That stuff's hot, man. And so is this one. Okay, it's all silver. Now, the thing that this is capable of doing is defeating body armor. It defeats body armor. That's a fact. They've tested that out. And you can Google that. And because it's moving so fast, 2,400 feet per second. And now what's going on is you are dipping into the world of hydrostatic shock. Once you pass 2,100 feet per second, you're in the hydrostatic shock area. And this is way beyond that, not way beyond it, but it's definitely beyond it. And we're talking rifle numbers now, 2,400 feet per second. That's rifle numbers. You shoot out of a G40, you got rifle numbers, okay? So this stuff is hot, it's mean. You got 223s that are 60 grain, 55 grain. You know, this is 60 grain, 10 millimeter at 2,400 feet per second. So pretty mean stuff. Then we have the Black Talon. Now, you can't buy this stuff anymore in a store, but if you look online, it's expensive stuff. You can still find it. As far as power, as far as it being hot, this is probably the least hot round of all of them, the Black Talon. I think this is about 950 feet per second. All right. And like 480 foot-pounds of energy. That's 9 millimeter energy and 45 ACP speed on a basic full metal jacket. However, the permanent wound cavity that this creates is bananas. It's right there with the Extreme Defender. And you also Google this. Google all of these I'm talking about. You'll see a video of a Black Talon being shot through ballistic gelatin, and we are talking about with denim in front. We are talking about a permanent wound cavity that is just crazy. It is huge. It's huge. So for stopping a human, this is the least recoil, the least amount of speed, the least amount of foot-pounds of energy, but it opens up like nothing else and rips up like nothing else. It does the job, and it does it well. So that's that. And there's two more. Bear with me. All right. Next here. Now, this is the round that I carry in the woods when hunting. This is both hunting ammo and just self-defense ammo when out in the woods, okay? This is a 220 grain, 10 millimeter. Pretty hot stuff, too. And boy, I'm so sorry. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's 200 grain. It's just solid. It's not 200 grain, 220 grain. It's made to just keep going, right? It's not made like hollow points where it's supposed to go in, open up, dump energy, blah, blah, blah. This is made to hit hard and keep going. You want to punch through and go as deep into the body as possible, into that animal as possible, and just hit every organ possible, you know, punch through the skull, punch through the thick hide and just thick body of a lot of the animals that would be out there. Hard cast is what it's called. 220 grain hard cast, 10 millimeter. It's hot stuff. I believe it's low 700 foot-pounds of energy, like 702 foot-pounds of energy, of course, again in the Glock 20. So yeah, really hot stuff. This is my woods carry. Okay, 220 grain. That's just 10 under the 230 grain of a 45 ACP. So it's just as heavy as just about as a 45 ACP, but it's much hotter, moving much faster. Okay, much faster. And this ammo is called Equalizer. It comes from a company called Double Tap. Now, Double Tap was started from a guy who was tired of dealing with these weak 10mm loads. So he started creating 10mm loads as he knows they were intended to shoot. And once he did that, he just started, making them for friends, and then it became a business. And it's called Double Tap. This is one of his craziest creations. Nobody else has duplicated this. What this is a 230 grain. He also makes one at 195 grain. This is a 230 grain, 10mm. But what you have is you have a I don't remember the numbers exactly. I just remember that. Oh, just about. I believe this is a 190 grain bullet up front. Behind it is another round caliber ball round. So you get hit twice. You get hit with two cartridges, or excuse me, not cartridges. To a bullet and a ball, if you want to call it, two bullets, kind of. Two bullets you get hit with at the same time. One hits 1 inch right above the other. So this one hits where you're aiming. The one behind it hits an inch high, right behind it, every time. And so you're getting hit twice with one shot every single time. This is 190 grains. And then the ball behind it, I believe, is 50 grains. Now, don't quote me on that, but I'm either dead right or very close on those numbers. So the ball behind it's 50 grain. This is a 190 grain bullet. And there's nothing else out there like this. So what I believe he did is we're finding that the hollow point itself wasn't performing as well as most other hollow points. So they started making the same round, but they were making it at 190 grain. And they were doing it different so that the ball in the back was like 65 grain and the bullet itself was like 125, 130 grain bullet. So the speed was increased and it was then now opening up. It was performing how it's supposed to. I've had these so long. This is the older one. This is the 230 grain one. Now, even if this didn't open up, you're still getting hit with two shots. Like you're still making up for that permanent wound cavity, because if this just stays where it's at, right, and it doesn't expand, you get a second one coming out that's just as wide. So bare minimum, you're getting double the width for each shot, period. You're getting double the width or more, and usually it's more. So those two rounds are vicious, whether this hollow point works or not, works like the other hollow points. But again, they now make the 190 grain, I believe, 190 or 195 grain version of this. That's the one you want to get. It performs better than the 230 grain. But that's what that is. And it's also in one of my mags. You get hit twice with each shot. That's beautiful. That's some mean stuff. So, yeah, these are some of the rounds I carry in my 10mm. Now, I got more. This isn't all of them. These are just I guess maybe the unique ones that I wanted to show you guys. I've got Hornady, I've got other Underwood, I've got some from Buffalo Boar. I've got a lot more, but these are the ones I want to show you. So that's that. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, but at least it's entertaining. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some of these rounds you didn't know about, you never heard about. In fact, I'm probably positive you learned something. And the goal is to learn something every day. All right. Good being here with you guys. Let me out.